It's almost time to party with Nintendo Direct, but not only that, a certain pirate game is coming to Nintendo Switch 2, and also more Xbox games are coming to Nintendo Switch 2, and not only that, but a multiplayer mode for Pikmin is in development. Anyways, so much more. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so this is the most highly anticipated Nintendo Direct ever, and when is this actually going to be happening? Now, it still looks like we will be seeing this Nintendo Direct in July. My assumptions is most likely going to be July 30th, but there's a lot of rumors, a lot of leaks, and a lot of sources that are claiming we are still getting a Nintendo Direct in July. So if everything goes to plan, we can still assume that this will be happening this week. And what could we be seeing in this Nintendo Direct? Now, the first things that we're probably going to be seeing is release dates for games that we haven't seen before, like Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, maybe even Kirby Air Riders, Elden Ring, and a whole bunch of other things. We're most likely going to be seeing updates and what's going on with Mario Kart World, maybe DLC, hopefully free, but overall, probably going to be seeing that. There's some sources that confirm that we will be seeing Animal Crossing, so maybe we can be seeing something like that. But overall, the Nintendo Direct is supposed to happen this week. At latest, it would be the 31st of July, but I think that we're most likely going to be seeing it the 30th of July. Anyway, so the next thing that we got to talk about here is Sea of Thieves is coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Now, if you look at this post by Nash Weedle, it says Sea of Thieves incoming, and the official Sea of Thieves Twitter has posted, "Oh, bananas." But you know what's funny about that is 5 days after the release of Donkey Kong Bonanza. So could this be them saying, okay, so this is coming to Nintendo Switch 2 at some point? I think it is, because there's no other reason why they would want to post the thing that says, "Oh, bananas," when it's a pirate game, not some sort of banana monkey game. Okay, so the next thing we gotta talk about is more Xbox games making their way to Nintendo Switch 2, which is pretty fantastic. Again, if you look at this post by Nash Weedles, you can see that there's a lot of games that are rumored to be coming to Nintendo Switch 2. And for example, that includes Call of Duty 6, Doom the Dark Ages, and even Indiana Jones The Great Circle. So, could this mean that we could be seeing even more games coming to Nintendo Switch 2? I believe it does. There's so many other games that really Xbox is cooking up the heat with Nintendo Switch 2. Okay, so the next thing we gotta talk about here is warning to Nintendo Switch 2 dock owners. Now, if you haven't touched a Nintendo Switch 2 dock in a long time, you could potentially have the same problem that I had. Now, this dock, the screen just turns blue, and even if you take the HDMI cable out, put it back in, change the new one, it's still blue for some reason. The way that I found out to fix it is by cleaning the inside of the port. But this just shows that if you just leave your Switch dock just sitting there, it can have some problems. Dust gets inside of the connector, and that's probably your issue, because recently I was gone for 2 weeks, didn't bring my dock, left it sitting there. When I came back, I tried to play Cyberpunk or whatever, and I put it in, and boom, all of a sudden, blue screen, and it's not necessarily doing anything with the HDMI, because the HDMI was able to capture it. I took it out, and I put in a different HDMI, and that wasn't the case, and it turns out it was the little port inside of it. Make sure that you clean that, make sure that all the connections are properly seated, and you shouldn't have a problem. Okay, so the next thing we gotta talk about here is a job listing for Sony has gotten everyone into a spiral. Now, if you take a look here, you can clearly see Xbox, Epic Games, Steam's, and a whole bunch of others. But what's the key interesting part is Nintendo. So, does this mean that Sony games are coming to Nintendo Switch 2? It's very, very likely, because we already got a PlayStation game, which was Lego Horizon Forbidden West, which is pretty cool on Nintendo Switch 2. Now, could this mean that we could be getting games like Spider-Man or things like that? That could be very likely, because the Spider-Man games are already on PC, and even they might be coming to Xbox or some sort. Anyways, it's pretty cool. Okay, so another thing that I found really interesting is now Kirby's Planet Robobot. Now this has been rumored, leaked a long time ago, but just recently now picking up some traction once again. And this is coming from Nate DeHay saying that this is going to be coming in 2025, a remaster of Kirby Planet Robobot. That would be pretty awesome because I think Kirby's Planet Robot is a really fantastic game. It really is fun. It really has all those goofy gimmicks that you come to expect from a Kirby game. But overall, I think that this will most likely happen. It's been rumored. It's been leaked. Highly credible source. And honestly, I think that's going to be happening. Okay, so the next thing that we got to talk about here is... So it turns out that Metroid Prime 4 has been rated, and this is fantastic because it means that a release date is on their way. And it turns out that Metroid Prime 4 is for ages 12 and up due to mild violence, which is pretty much expected by now. But overall, this is really great, and maybe we can see a Metroid Prime 4 release date in the upcoming Nintendo Direct. Anyways, that'd be pretty awesome. Okay, so the next thing we gotta talk about here is a Pikmin multiplayer. Now, Nash Weedle has put out another post that says that they're working on a multiplayer Pikmin game. Now, this is really cool because could this be Pikmin 4 or could this be a brand new game? Right now, it looks to be we're going to be seeing a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Pikmin 4, but overall, that's pretty great. And honestly, it's a great time to be a Nintendo fan. Anyways, so another thing that's really interesting is a Claire Obscure Expedition 33 developer seems open to a Nintendo Switch 2 port. Now, this is really great because this is honestly one of the greatest turn-based RPGs ever. Because honestly, it's just that good, and now Nintendo fans can finally get the chance to experience this. Now, when do I think we're going to be seeing this? I don't think we're going to be seeing this in the July Direct, but that doesn't mean that we won't see it ever. I believe we're probably going to be seeing it in either the September Direct or whenever we see our next Nintendo Direct. So, just maybe we could see Claire Obscure Expedition 33, because honestly, this would be great to see on Nintendo. You can bring it anywhere you want, and you can just have a fun time with it. Okay, so the next thing, I know, there's a lot of things, we gotta cover it up. More Nintendo Switch 2 editions are coming, so like we previously mentioned, Pikmin 4, that's most likely going to be seeing a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. We're most likely going to be seeing even more Nintendo Switch 2 editions. You know what? Let me know what kind of Nintendo Switch 2 editions you would like to see, and maybe we'll see them. Maybe it's a possibility that we could see seeing more Switch 2 editions. And another thing that we'll most likely see inside of the Nintendo Direct, I forgot to mention, was Gamecube. Now, Nintendo usually likes to release a new game every single month, and they follow the trend of what they laid right now. We should see our next Gamecube game in July. If you don't remember, that was Mario Strikers. So now, could we be seeing our next game? Maybe could it be Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness? Maybe could it be Mario Kart Double Dash? Now, that hasn't officially been kind of rumored by Nintendo, but it's assumed that we're probably going to see that game sometime soon. Okay, so anyways, that's a lot of Nintendo news. I tried to keep it nice, short, and simple, but it's a little bit longer because of the fact that we gotta cover so many new stories, so many interesting things. Anyways, what did you think about this? Consider to hit the like button, maybe subscribing if you are new. That would mean the world to me if you hit the subscribe button. You know, stay up to date with a whole bunch of things Nintendo. And with that being said, hope you have a fantastic day and see you in the next one.